Nice redfish right here. So today I brought some frogs. This is a Spro poppin' frog. We've got overcast, we've got rain predicted in a couple of hours, so I'm using this more or less as a search tool. It's just like working topwater if you were to work it on a typical saltwater flat. I'm seeing a lot of sheep's head in here. I might pull out that little rod that's got the beetle spin on it to catch one of them, but today we're gonna throw this frog a little while, see if we can find some fish, and then we might switch up to a higher percentage bait. But let me tell you, if this works, it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's dial one up. Let me see if I can catch one of these sheep's head. I'll keep the frog rod up here. Let me just see if I can catch them. I mean, because there's a lot of them. There's another one and another one. Let's see what I can do. Little redfish. Trying to catch a sheep's head. Put him on the beetle spin. A little bit much for this rod. If I could ever figure out how to catch a sheep's head. This is just a little trick I learned a long time ago. I'd take a crappie jig, use it for the sheep's head, but this guy was in with all of them and just didn't work. I think I'm going to go back to throwing a different type of blade bait. See if I can get another fish. These guys are going to tear up my... And you go, Chief. Well, fun, but let's switch it up again. Today we're doing a little bit of everything because it's just been kind of weird lately with the holiday weekend and whatnot. There's been a lot of pressure on the water, so let me see what I can do. I'll leave that out. There's so many sheephead in here. I can see them floating high everywhere, and they wake, but their wake is not deliberate like redfish. It kind of slithers a little bit, and it's a little sharper wake. So other than that one juvenile redfish, I have not seen another tell or signature that would tell me that there's a bunch of redfish in here. Not yet, and that's why I'm using the frog on this little bit longer rod. As soon as I can locate one or a zone, I guess, that I feel comfortable in, then I'm going to probably switch up to a higher percentage bait with an open hook. Spoon or a spinner bait, because there's a lot of grass in the water here. Viney grass too, that longleaf grass. And it's all submerged. Or I'm going to maybe move to my reliable chatterbait, I don't know. But for now, the frog gets the call because it can cover the water. I get into these tight little zones like this. It's hard to work a longer rod. You can see how congested it is. I may go to a shorter rod. It's something a lot more compact, and you can make a shorter, more accurate cast in the right spot, because I've got a feeling that's what I'm going to need to do. I mean, typically when I see the sheep's head in the numbers that I'm seeing the sheep's head in here, I know there's a couple of redfish around. So let's make that switch right now from the frog and put this 7.4 rod down. Let's pick up maybe a 6.8 rod that I got down here. Okay, so we're tucked up in here, and as you can see around me, it's kind of an intense environment in here. Lots of small patties and mats in here, lots of these flowering cane plants in here, and the fish can run you around all of this stuff. It's difficult to make the perfect cast, especially if there's a little distance to it. So I've been creeping up on fish and trying to make casts just ahead of them and pulling the chatter. One of my favorite rods that Trevor has at Fitzgerald is not actually in my lineup, but it is this one here. It's in the composite lineup. So check this out. This is 6.8 composite, medium heavy. It's a really nice rod. It's part graphite and part fiberglass, so it has a little bit of give there at the end. At 6.8, it does an amazing job of casting accuracy. I love the ability to pitch or to even cast with a roll cast and put it right on top of the fish so that you can have a shot at catching them. There's so much stuff in the water. If you give them too much of a lead, I like to call it the Florida lead, because you're worried about spooking them or just blowing them out. Don't worry about that if you ever visit Louisiana. It's way more important to get up there within a foot or two of the fish and just pull it gently to them. That chatter starts going right away, especially the Z-Man chatterbaits. And once you've done it, they just smash it, and then you know what you can get away with. But this little composite rod, it's the best tool. It's like having a little Derringer in your pocket. You can just get real close, poof, and get them. Trying to move through all of this quietly, and now you can see why the longer rod is going to be an issue. How congested this is with plants and hyacinths, and I mean, I've got some cypress over here that the anhingas are using, but you see a redfish in here. Short rod, especially once you're hooked up, might even be a big time advantage. I like to use shorter rods a lot on windy days as well. You just have more compact, more controlled casts. So when I was growing up, I'll be honest with you, a long rod to me was 7 foot long. So when I see guys throwing 7.6s now, it's like, I have a few instances where I'll use a 7.6 rod, maybe with spinning gear, with something really light. But see a redfish tailing out here, the light's catching them just right so I can see them out there at a good distance. I'm gonna try to get close enough. I'd get down and get my frog rod, but I'm afraid he'd disappear, so I think I'm gonna get in here. He's sitting right there. Come and wrap me. I think I got a hook in him now. You can be so accurate too with a shorter rod. The casts are pinpoint, if you will. Oh, came off the hook. I didn't get as good a hook in him as I thought it did. I took my guard down to put that power pole down so I wouldn't blow out the zone. There's two redfish here moving away from me. With that short rod, I should be able to get in front of them. They did not eat. I'm surprised. barely catch up to that guy. Turn my trolling motor off so I have a little more control here. This is one of those baits that they can find real easy. That's a really good fish. Put my trolling, my power pole down. Get a hold of this guy. Okay. Pretty representative fish. He's probably about 20, 23, maybe 24. Careful, buddy. Don't want you or I to get hurt. Look how fat that guy is. I mean, they got a belly on them, don't they? A real Louisiana fish. All right, back in the water. Whew. All right, let's talk about this bait for a second. Okay. So, challenging light today for sure. About a 10-mile-an-hour east wind, which is not bad. In fact, I prefer to have wind. I think it just makes fishing better. But in these type of conditions, you know, when you're on all this tight stuff, you want to find a lure with all the stuff that's going on in here. Mullet are in here, pogies are in here. There's all kinds of sound. You're wanting a bait that can appeal to these fish and they can find quickly because they have so many options. Now, I started off with the frog, but I found that the frog rod was a little challenging in here because I'm making long casts with it. The line's floating over the top of a lot of these flowering plants that are a little taller. And if I had more mat and more open spots, the frog would definitely be one of the baits I'd want to use, and it's a lot of fun. But in here, the shorter rod, this 6/8 rod with this is the new, well, it's not really new. It's been out for a year. This is a 3/8 Evo. This is the tungsten version, so the head's a little bit smaller. And it has a unique high-pitched sound. Doesn't sound like a jackhammer, doesn't sound like your standard Evo. Has a little bit, I'm going to say, tinnier sound when the blade hits that head. And if you're within a foot or two of these redfish, they're going to smash it. I mean, it didn't take long to dial up 2-3 bites this morning. So I'm going to keep plodding through here a little bit. This looked like the water was flowing out of a little longer drain. And I'm going to keep looking to see where these drains are coming into this zone here. I'm not far from Venice. In fact, I'm very, very close to Venice. I can see the cranes and stuff on the horizon behind me. So it's more of a freshwater marsh than it is a saltwater marsh, but this will work anywhere. If you're fishing a salty marsh in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, this is going to work. You'll just catch probably a few more flounder in the process. All right, let's get up and do it again. So what I have paired on this 6/8 composite medium heavy from Fitzgerald is the Bates Hundo 150. This is the freshwater version. It's not the salty version. Although it's built so rock solid, you could probably use it in salt water if you wanted to care for it a little bit more. Really fantastic reel. Allows me to use 40, 50, and 65 pound braid because it's got more line capacity. If I want to use fluorocarbon lines, 17, 20, even higher, there's enough spool depth on here to accommodate all those. It's one of my favorite reels, does a really good job. This is 40 pound. This is the Diamond product. This is their Generation 3 braid. Very high quality, very supple, smooth casting. Not the micro braid, this is the Gen 3 braid. Does a good job in all this vegetation in here. So super happy with this setup. Love the short handle on the Fitzgerald composite rod, and it's ideal for fishing this type of environment. Now, let's find another target. I get a lot of questions about the chatterbait when I do these videos, especially when I'm out here. It's when I'm in any marshy environment, believe it or not, even in Northeast Florida, the Panhandle, around Swanee, even Everglades, when I'm in the backcountry of the Everglades, it is amazing how effective a chatterbait can be. It really is. It does a fantastic job. It's a jig, it's a spoon, it's a spinnerbait. It really does everything. You know, some people will keep the skirts on, some will take the skirts off. I keep them on because I believe it gives it a little bit more secondary action, makes it look a little fuller. I just like it. It just does a really good job for me. And on a lot of my rod setups, because I'm using casting gear, I have a lot of line tension control. I can keep it from being fouled, and just a really good lure, especially on this rod. You can see how this rod is set up. It's very fast, but that tip is soft, so it lets this bait load up on them. It's not so fast that it pulls it away. You got that little forgiveness there. You got that little touch with the tip of this rod. So it's really perfect. And this short handle, I like it, you know. I'm a bigger guy, I wear some extra large shirts and you wouldn't know it, but sometimes when the wind's blowing behind me, the handles will get caught up in these shirts, and they don't with this little short handle rod. I really like it a lot. I think I'm going to give up on this little zone here and start working my way back out and get up in another one. But this has been productive moving up this one here. Let's go hunt. Looks like a red in here. Whoa. Overreacted. I didn't feel him. I just saw him. That can be a problem. This might be him here. Can't see real good with the light. Where he went. There he is. He did not like that. Don't like that at all. Wow. I'm not used to that. Not here in Louisiana. That stung. Sheep's head. Wow. Kind of got my feelings hurt there. You don't catch every one of them. That's proof in the pudding right there. I'm going to be patient. Wait another 5 or 6 minutes here and see if I can't get one. There's another sheep's head. They do not like the chatterbait coming into their head. Right here. Sitting down in here somewhere. Oh yeah. Sitting in that run. Trying to take it easy. I don't want to get him in all those vines though. Come on, get out of there, bud. They run right for that cover every time. Big fish. Big fish. Oh, and that duckweed. Come on. I'll tell you what, windy days, this is a great little rod. Great little rod. Okay. Look at that. Wow. another fish, probably, I'm going to say a solid 26 at least. Whew. It doesn't get any better than this. You know, the right setups, using the right bait, and understanding where they want to come out. I'm going to just get him back in the water here. I want him to come on there, bud. There you go. I don't like keeping them out, although the water is cool today. We just had a cool front. But it's fun to catch these fish in these little runs, using the wind to kind of push that water. Great way to find the sweet spots for them. And naturally, windy days, tight quarters, and still have enough power to pull them away from this type of cover. If you're fishing around docks, it would be structure. You know, that's what you want. You want to have the tools that make this job easy, and that's what I have here. Hope this little video helped you out, understanding why sometimes the shorter rod is the best rod. You know, I've been tucked up inside trying to stay out of the wind, stay out of the weather, sprinkled a few times. But anytime I've got these crosswinds, I've got lots of, in this case it happens to be marsh grass, but where you are it might be oyster bars. It's nice to have a compact, accurate rod, 6'8". This composite rod's just kind of a blend between fiberglass and graphite, and it does a good job. In fact, it's kind of a utility rod for me, almost like an all-around. And if Trevor will let me, I'm going to try to add something like this to the FlatsClass Inshore series, because I think the guys that fish Charleston, up around Wilmington, some of the places in Texas around Galveston would enjoy a rod like this. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you did, please give me the thumbs up and subscribe. I want you back here each and every day. We always have some type of lesson here. All right. I might catch one more on my way out of here. You never know.